Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakah Kodash, Brakathum. Double honor shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops of great millstone who continue to teach it to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, the great millstone and like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to the sincere Aquats, who are continuously learning in silence, as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right, so Abaratazat, Lord willing, the title for my lesson for today will be Ending of the Unicorn. Ending of the unicorn. And no, I'm not talking about those fairy tale horses with the horn on their foreheads. No. So the unicorn in this day and age, in these last days, Salakia, would be those satellites up in space with the horns, with the cone-shaped horns. Because this is known as the internet, right? The internet, Wi-Fi. All right. So in this day and age, that's what unicorn represents in these last days. But back in the biblical times, the word unicorn was mentioned several times, but it wasn't about satellites, because of course back in those days there were no such thing as satellites back in those biblical times. But the unicorn back then would represent strength. All right, let's put it that way. It represented strength. The horns on the animals, you know, like a bullock, ram. All right, those animals, it represented strength. Okay, so I'll prove that later on this lesson. But what you see here on your screen, you got, once again, Jay Reed, the great sympathizer. That's what I keep calling this dude, because he's an ultimate great sympathizer. All right. So the title for his video, it will be TikTok Stop Paying Creators. Now they're losing everything. Because that's what's going on in these last days. YouTube, TikTok, all these social media platforms, they are deleting, you know, content. All right. They're deleting handles, okay, channels that people were used to making money off of. Now it's gone. So we're definitely indeed in these last days. So I'm going to play this video in its entirety. It's about 12 minutes long. And then pull up some precepts and more info about the unicorn. All right. But before I do so, fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act for this video is strictly for education and edification purposes only. I'm not making a dime off this video. You heard? So, Salakia, without any further delay, let's go.
To believe TikTok is no longer the best place to monetize in because they don't want to pay their creators. I'll have to cry of how frustrated I am, but I am a stay-at-home mom of two. My name is Melly, and I have over 140,000 people on TikTok, which in itself is a big fucking number. I'm gonna beg you to please go on my link in my bio, if you know what I mean, so that you can follow my other socials, because it's getting to the point where I'm having to move from TikTok and monetize on other platforms. It's not because I want to get luxury stuff, okay? I want to pay off my car loan. I want to support my family. I'm just a basic ass stay-at-home mom, like, being real with you. I just want to support my family, get ice cream for my kids, and not have to swipe my husband's card, okay? This is my platform. This is my people. This is my family. I will post on TikTok even if I don't get no money from it. I put my heart and my soul on here, and to think that I'm having to go and start over in other platforms just because they're literally not paying anybody the way they should be. I can go into detail because, you know, guidelines and all, but I've gotten over almost 200,000 qualified views, and I have made less than $10 in the month of February. Like, it's crazy. 1 minute videos is what I post the most of, and those are the ones that take the longest to make or edit or think thoroughly creative, you know? And yes, I do TikTok shop, but it's so hard to monetize from your videos, and the only time I made a lot of money from it, I have to go live for almost 6 hours a day, and I just haven't had that kind of time lately, you know? We're posting on other platforms. I've been posting on the Book of Faces for like over 2 months now. I'm just waiting to get accepted. I only have like 700 people. So yeah, if y'all can support me doing that, please, because your girl is just, you know. And if y'all got any advice on how to get brand deals, because I reach out to these brands and nobody loves me.
TikTok creators stopped getting paid. Of course, y'all know under the new ownership, and now a lot of them are leaving the platform. They're quitting and finding other revenue. And of course, like she said in this video, a lot of them aren't full-time creators. A lot of them were just using this as a side hustle to make money, because hey, why not? If you can make money just talking on TikTok, then why not? And this was a side hustle that they were using to generate some income. But of course, now people are, losing out because of this whole situation. Of course, you have a lot of people that are doing this full time, but ultimately it is really scary for a lot of the people on that platform. And it's not just TikTok. You also have a lot of other platforms. YouTube, of course, isn't doing this to this extent. Of course, they're censoring things, but I love YouTube platform. It's completely different. But, of course, nobody's safe, and you have to be aware of what are the potential things and really structure your life in a way that you're able to truly be successful in it. But, it's so many platforms that are going through this right now as we speak.
Be honest with me. How much do you think 9 million views pays? I just had a video hit 9 million views. I got 456,000 likes, over 10,000 comments, 82,000 shares, 71,000 favorites, and over 24,227 hours of watch time. You would think that would pay thousands of dollars, right? That's what the normal person would think. Yeah. Oh, 8 million views, 9 million views, 10 million. You gotta be making bands, right? You know how much it paid me? $1,100.
Wow.
But you know what the crazy part is, though? I didn't edit it. I didn't even talk. I literally just sat there with the song playing in the background. Look stupid. That was about it. It took me about 3 minutes to make the video. But the thing is, man, I've had videos with 250,000 views that has paid me a lot more money than that. So here's what people don't understand. Going viral does not mean you're just getting rich, dog. Your watch time matters, your structure matters, and your effort matters. Sometimes the easiest video that you make will blow up, right?
Yeah.
But the ones that you actually work on and spend effort and time on are the ones that are going to make you.
Now, let's put this all into perspective. I know people are in the comment section, oh, he made $1,100 for one video. That is great. That is amazing. But let's talk about on average. His average view video is like 10,000 views. 2,000 views is going down to 2,000, right? 5,000. Like, this is his page. So when you have a video to hit 9 million views and you only make $1,100, right? And I say only, but I'm just saying in the average case. You think that the sky is the limit when actuality it's not really the sky, because if the most you can probably average or the most you can get is 9 million, then when you finally hit it and you're like, okay, what happened? That is what I'm saying. And then on your day-to-day videos, you're only making pennies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is why a lot of creators are mad about the situation. But like I said, they're not just not getting paid. You just have a lot of creators that are losing out on a lot of money right now, so to speak, because of the censorship, because of the lower RPMs, because of so many other things.
Can I be honest with y'all? TikTok lowering the RPM low key made me go back to posting stuff that I actually like posting. It made me go back to stop overthinking my posts and thinking too much into posting certain things because I was hyper focused on the money. Right? It got to the point where I was so hyper focused on the money that it started to feel like a job almost, right? And I've lost the art of just having fun on the app and making posts that I just enjoy making outside of making money. And so by them lowering the RPM now, I don't really think as much when I post up. I don't even care sometimes if the video ain't a minute because it don't matter whether or not I get paid or not because if they do pay me, it don't pay me nothing anyway.
Yeah.
So like just removing that just made me enjoy it a little bit more. And it's not that I was rage baiting at any point, but I did know I'm self-aware enough to know that a lot of the topics that I've addressed, that touchy topics, they controversial topics, they get engagement by discussing it, but that's not necessarily rage bait. But again, to the point, I do like that now I feel like posting again. I do get enjoyment out of posting versus just being so focused on the money.
Yeah, and that's the biggest place that you want to be in. You want to just do it for the fun, like for the fun of it ultimately, because when you get so drowned in the money, the fun goes away and it becomes draining. It becomes you burn out. But like I said, there are creators who do this full time, so you have to balance it as well.
You know,
This winter, thousands of homeowners are making the switch from gas to an electric heat pump system. Here's why. These all-electric cold climate heat pump systems are game changers. They'll heat your home.
I've loved TikTok for years. The community that I've built, the creators I've come in contact with, a lot of things about TikTok has made me want to always be here, want to always stream. I am going on over 2 months now. Next month will be the 3rd month that I have not been paid over $7,000.
Wow.
This is not okay. I have not been able to recover from this like I have wanted to. It has messed me up mentally, put me in a very bad financial state, a very bad emotional state. It's not okay. It's not okay for the way that creators, streamers, content creators, whatever you are on this app, it's not okay for the way that we have been treated. Things have changed for us and why we are the ones that's suffering from it when this is what we do. So everybody can go and comment and troll the comments about TikTok's not a job. You don't fucking know a thing because you aren't in our position to even put yourself to be able to say those words.
Yeah, I get what he's coming from, but ultimately, I mean, when you're missing out on money, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like if you got a business, if you got a job, or if you're a TikTok creator, it doesn't matter. You still have to generate income, right? So we can talk about the system sucks and everything under the sun, but if you don't have the money, you know, and that money, you don't know when it's going to come. It's just you're at the discretion of the platform. That sucks. And that's a very bad situation to be in, if you ask me. But, you know, and this is the reality. You're going to have a lot of people that start to go back and get jobs, get real jobs, working at factories and working at whatever they can get a job at. That is where we're headed.
Well, Mr. Great Sympathizer, you got to understand something. With the combination of no work for Egypt, as far as, you know, lack of jobs are concerned, plus, you know, these social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube, you know, they are eliminating these platforms and not paying. Well, guess what? You asked out. I'm just going to be straight up with that. A lot of these people are going to be asked out. big time very soon. And with the combination of famine of the bread, famine of the hearing of the word of the Lord, which I will get into in a few minutes, boom, I'm telling you, it's going to result in 2nd Ezra 16th chapter when it talks about sedition amongst men. All right? Riots. Okay? You're going to spoil your neighbor's goods. Things of the sort. Let's continue.
With some of these systems that are being put in place, but it sucks. But this is the reality of it.
So here's the thing. It used to. When I first joined the TikTok Creator Fund at the tail end of 2024, all of a sudden, I was making money that it completely shocked me. There were months when I would make from TikTok alone. The highest was $2,400 in a month. Okay. But like 1,000, 2,000, 2,400. And that happened pretty much up until the TikTok ban in January of 2025. And then I was making the same amount of content, the same kind of content. My views were still consistently on brand. The engagement was on brand, but it just plummeted. By the time I took my break in December of 2025, the last few months before that, I was maybe making $100 a month. And I'm not saying this to be ungrateful for that time. The money that I made for those first few months was the reason that the bear, my fiance, and I were able to go to Scotland last year. That exclusively paid for that trip because, don't get me wrong, we're not doing poorly. We're just living paycheck to paycheck. So money for a wedding, a wedding is only happening because of my parents helping out. A honeymoon, I don't know where that's going to come from. We'll see. But I feel like it was easier to create content on a daily basis for me when it felt like a job. Like I was showing up every day, sometimes posting 2 or 3 times a day. And there was compensation for that effort. Obviously, there is compensation just spreading a message you're passionate about, obviously. But in this economy, it's time to put my time and effort into things that can help pay the bills, unfortunately. TikTok is no longer that source. So it's frustrating. I've seen a lot of content creators talk about this, that steep drop off in 2025. The pressure that we get from TikTok now, we'll see it all the time in our messages to promote our video, to get views we used to get for free. It's a frustrating process. I don't really know what to do about it. It doesn't change the fact that I still love the community that I found on this platform, and I'm grateful for the experiences and the community and the brief time where this was a beneficial platform financially for me to be on, but that time is no longer now.
But yes, this is what's going on right now all over the internet, guys. I'm not saying that everybody's going through this on TikTok right now as we speak, but a lot of creators are, especially your smaller creators. I'm talking about 50,000 followers and lower. The people who are monetized, but they just aren't making the money that they thought they should be making. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think about this within the comment section below. Burning, tingling, numb.
All right, so there you go. There you go. So, like I mentioned, this unicorn is slowly but surely coming to an end. All right? So when we go to the book of Deuteronomy 33:17, and it reads, "His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth, and they are the 10,000s of Ephraim," or the modern day Puerto Ricans, "and they are the thousands of Manasseh," or the modern day cubits. All right. So what I want to do here is to slide over to Deuteronomy 33:17 NLT. And it reads, Joseph has the majesty of a young bull. He has the horns of a wild ox. And remember what I mentioned earlier, that back in those days, the word unicorn pretty much represented strength. Okay? He will gore distant nations, even to the ends of the earth. This is my blessing for the multitudes of Ephraim and the thousands of Manasseh. All right, so then it concludes, this verse symbolizes the strength and power of the tribes of Joseph. All right. So you see what I'm trying to do, Jakes? I'm trying to give you guys more clarification and more understanding of what this word unicorn represent. But like I said, this was back in the biblical times that, this word unicorn came about. Because like I also said, in today's world, that word unicorn means the satellites. All right? These are the satellites of communication, internet, Wi-Fi. Okay? So let me show you another image so you can further understand. So this is an article, all right? And what do you see? You see unicorns of Earth observation, an unproven guide, okay? So if you look closer, it says disclaimer. This article is not a professional write-up or sponsored blog, but rather the ramblings of an Earth observation evangelist who is passionate about making satellite data more accessible. The key word is satellite. And you see the title, Unicorns of Earth Observation. Now you're starting to get the drift, Jakes. So in these times, in these last days, this is the internet. And of course, myself and a lot of other Jakes, men of the Lord, hopeful men of the elect, we are utilizing this unicorn or satellite to get the message out. Courtesy of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, because remember in the book of Colossians, it says that the Lord is the creator of all things, roughly paraphrasing. So ultimately, this is the Lord's creation, this unicorn or this satellite that's up in the atmosphere, out in space, in these last days for us to get this word out. Because if it's not for that, this technology, how else are we going to be able to do so and accomplish this feat? You heard? So let's get to some more scripts. Revelation 7:2, and it reads, And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Yahweh. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Verse 3, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Yahweh in their foreheads. Woo! And again, how is this going to be accomplished in these last days? through those unicorns or those satellites up in the outer space areas. All right? Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Yasharallah. Woo! All right? So again, you Jakes, are you starting to understand now where I'm going with this? As far as the unicorn? And then we go to the book of Matthew 24:12, and it reads, and this is what Yahweh Shai says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that is so true. That's what's going on right now. Verse 13, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And of course, that's talking about the 1/3 of the hopeful elect men, including myself. All right? And here's a point. Verse 14. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Woo! So again, how is this going to be accomplished as far as this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations? That's through the unicorns, the satellites. All right? The internet, Wi-Fi. So hopefully this analogy, again, will resonate onto you, Jakes, so you can get edified, get edification from what I'm saying. All right? But what's going to happen very soon? According to the book of Amos 8:11, and it reads, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Woo! So you see what's going on now? Esau wants to shut down the internet. As a matter of fact, you had one of the Rothschild's family members, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he said, and I'm just roughly paraphrasing what he said. He said that the internet should not have been created. Something to that effect. This Amalek said it plain and clear that the internet should not have been invented. Why? Because he knows, and the rest of his brethren know, that they're being made bare in these last days. They're being outed, if you will. You heard? So that's going to conclude this lesson for today. Hopefully, true understanding and true edification regarding the term of unicorn is being brought forth. So with that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Makakodash, Brakatam, Kwam, Yasharallah, Rise Israel. And as always, Abaratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.